It's time to talk about your money and ways to save it. Americans spend so much money every month on food, but we have one easy trick to help you cut down on the cost and not the flavor. Plus, we're breaking down some of the changes that you can make to save money on your utility bills. And we know just how expensive it can be to pay for college today. So on this money saving special, we're trying to help you trim those tuition costs. Thank you for joining us for this 12 News Money Saving Special. I'm Trisha Hendricks. Many Arizonans might be struggling with debt and leaning on their credit cards more these days. But with the right mindset, as one East Valley mom found out, eliminating debt is possible. Here's her story.
It's kind of an eye-opener to sit back and realize where you're overspending and really what you don't need.
Mesa mom of 5 Angelica Baeza knows all too well just how fast expenses can add up.
I think with a lot of people, they want to save, they want to eliminate debt, they just don't know where to start, and it can seem somewhat overwhelming.
Oh, absolutely. When you really start to dial in on what you're doing and where you're spending money, it adds up quickly.
That daily coffee.
$200 a month. You tally that up over the year, it's at least $2,000.
And every time you go out to eat.
It's self-sabotage, the idea of treat yourself. So you have a hard day at work and you're like, oh, I'm going to go do this. I'll treat myself, but realistically, what are you doing at the end of all of that? Like the treating yourself, it kind of gets out of hand.
And at what expense?
Exactly. So you're not really treating yourself to anything. You're hurting yourself from what your goals are.
People are realizing that because we didn't have financial education and help in our younger years, we're struggling even more with debt now.
Rachel Caballero has been with True West Credit Union for almost 18 years. And in her line of work, eliminating debt is something that comes up often.
Understand how to recognize their triggers, recognize their financial stressors, and recognize how they can identify the spending leaks that they have so that they can plug them.
Rachel says understanding your debt, creating a budget, choosing a strategy, and increasing your income while reducing debt are key to staying motivated. In Angelica's case, when student loans were due earlier this year, she had a conversation with her husband and they asked themselves a question.
What if one of us got laid off? What would that look like?
It was then they got serious about eliminating debt. They started eating out less and being more disciplined when it comes to splurging.
Just trying to stay focused on what that goal is and writing it down if you need to. And I've been listening to podcasts to try to just keep me in the right frame of thinking,
Since the beginning of the year, they've saved a lot.
How much have you seen savings-wise already?
Thousands of dollars, truthfully.
So if you're intentional about it, it is possible to eliminate debt. When it comes to saving more as parents, Angelica says they try to buy things secondhand when they can and get rid of things that they just don't need anymore, like reselling baby gear, the car seats, playpens, all the things that you only truly need for a fraction of time. Now to the cost of food. Nationally, we fork out more than $7,700 on groceries and going out each year. So on this money saving special, we're looking at meal prepping for a family. Here are some great ways to save more and spend less. Ask just about any parent and they'll tell you.
My son likes to eat a lot.
Kids like to eat.
Protein, chicken.
And even more if they're always on the go or involved in sports where they're burning lots of calories.
He played football at Higley High School.
Moms Aziza Dazukis and Amber Smith speak from experience.
My son was in fall ball and played baseball all year round, so we needed meals that were good, that taste good, that he could eat, throughout the day.
And of course, food is essential for energy. But yes, healthy food can be costly.
Food prices are very expensive, especially going out to eat.
So when did you realize that you're just spending way too much money on food?
We would always go through the Chick-fil-A drive-thru or some of the other, common restaurants, at least $20 if not more.
And that's, remember, they still want a snack. They want their breakfast, then they want an afternoon snack.
It wasn't until they connected with Valley Chef Ronald Young, also known as Chef Ron, they started saving more and spending less.
You want to go see who has the best deals, and you want to look at all of them.
He's an expert when it comes to meal prepping.
I like being able to help people figure it out.
Chef Ron says try to stay away from preservatives.
Look for proteins and carbs that kind of spread. What I mean by that is chicken, chicken breasts, chicken thighs, chicken skewers. I've never met a kid that'll turn down a meatball.
They're so good.
They're so good. You can even freeze them. And rice is one of those things where you can possibly eat it warm or hot. It'll still be good to eat, even if you didn't have a microwave to warm up the food. Sandwiches, wraps.
Here's how these moms took his pointers and changed the way they prepped food for their kids for summer camps and school. Buying ahead of time in bulk, planning a menu, and couponing. And then prepping ahead of time with little food storage containers from the store.
I got like 7 or 8 of them, and I would pack them during the week. All he had to do was grab and go. Mondays was chicken skewers. Tuesdays was meatballs. We saved so much more money.
By taking these steps, these moms noticed in their budget.
You literally are going to save at least, and I kid you not, at least $75 to $100 a week.
I've noticed a drastic change in saving money.
It's 50 times easier, and you're going to save so much more money.
Now to saving money on your utility bills, from electricity, water, gas, and trash collection. The list goes on, and those bills can really pile up. I spoke with the Valley homeowner that made some changes to her home, both inside and out, to find out how she's saving big on her utility bills.
First thing that stood out was our water bill, because we used to have grass in the front and the back, so our water bill was outrageous.
Scottsdale mom and realtor Heidi Majidi says when they first moved into their home, she knew they had to make some changes.
Aesthetically pleasing, but also help save some money.
So they started with replacing the grass with turf.
In the last 3 years, we've saved about $3,500 on our water bill.
And that was just the beginning of their utility bill saving home upgrades.
So we've since added ceiling fans only to the rooms that we spend the most time in, instead of having to constantly lower your thermostat to cool the entire house.
They also got smart thermostats.
You can control the time of day in which the temperature rises when you're not home.
And started using an air fryer.
And it's insane how much we've saved on our electric bill.
All things Cassandra Donahoe with SRP recommends to customers when they're trying to get their utility bills down.
I help manage programs all around energy efficiency.
She says keeping heat out of your home can make a big difference.
You get 2 free shade trees a year. Just participate in a workshop. You can update your shade screens. So any window coverings will prevent heat gain from entering your home. We offer a rebate on shade screens as well.
And checking the weatherization on your doors and windows.
Make sure there's no cracks or anything that needs to be replaced, because that's how the heat is going to seep in.
Leaks, clogs, and holes can lose about 20% of the HVAC's efficiency. So managing your AC is key too.
Turning up your thermostat at least 2 to 3 degrees to help counteract and lower your bill about 2 to 3% for each degree that you turn it up.
She's made quite a few energy efficiency upgrades in her own home and switched to budget billing.
My summer bill looked more like $300 to $350, but now it's $170 every month.
Bottom line, if you start out by making some simple changes like Heidi did, it will show on your utility bills.
We've saved between 35 to 40% on our water bill.
While they did have to fork out much more on the turf than the ceiling fans or air fryer, she says the savings have been well worth it. Now to the cost of a college education. It can be shocking, but there are ways to bring down the price tag of a higher education. Before you sign anything, start doing the math for what all those college expenses are going to add up to. We've got some great expert advice on where you should start.
Bachelor's in political science with minors in international studies and psychology.
Some college students aren't as lucky as Haley Finetti. Not only did she graduate in 3 years, but she was also able to save a lot of money in the process.
I applied for the FAFSA every year.
And she qualified for FAFSA, also known as Free Application for Federal Student Aid, every year.
I grew up in a middle income household, so I would definitely say all students should apply.
She also applied for scholarships starting during her senior year in high school.
$9,000 to go towards my college career, which was I was so grateful for it.
Let's just say she got some pointers from her mom, Jennifer, along the way. She's the director of outreach and advocacy for Scholarship Owl, a platform that makes it faster and easier for students to apply for scholarships.
But it's not just about streamlining the process. It's also about matching the right scholarship to the right student. And so we have artificial intelligence and machine learning built into the platform to make that happen.
So where do you start when it comes to finding an affordable path to college?
Applying to the college colleges that you think are going to be not only a good academic fit, but also a good financial fit for you and your family.
Also prioritizing and applying for scholarships year-round.
Submitting the FAFSA and working part-time during the school year and full-time during the summer.
So it's a combination of strategies that makes it possible to afford college.
If you follow those strategies, you should not need to take out student loans.
There are some big savings to be had.
So it's basically a full-time job in itself.
You know, it does take a lot of time and effort to plan for college and then to go through the process of applying, but it's time worth, that's well worth it.
In Haley's case,
I tended to pick a day on the weekend, a Saturday or Sunday, to just focus on applying for as many scholarships as possible. I'm really stressing the click to apply.
It works, right?
It does.
she did whatever it took to see the results she was hoping for. Every Monday, we report on ideas that could save you and your family money. If you have any Money Saving Monday ideas you would like to share with us or any topics you want us to cover, email us at money@12news.com. Coming up, we're tackling credit card debt. On average, Arizonans have anywhere from $4,000 to $8,000 in credit card debt. But experts say there are things you can do to dig out. Plus, are you tired of wasting money on meaningless trinkets? We're taking a look at some simple savings tips guaranteed to help you pass on those tempting splurges. Welcome back to this 12 News Money Savings Special. Americans are now holding the highest amount of credit card debt ever. According to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, it's more than $1.1 trillion. On average, Arizonans have anywhere from $4,000 to $8,000 in credit card debt. But experts say there are things you can do to tackle your balance. 12 News journalist Colleen Sikora has these tips.
Depending on the source, Arizonans are carrying anywhere from $4,000 to about $7,000 in credit card debt on average. But experts say there are things you can do to tackle your balance.
Short on money. Credit cards filling the gap for some Americans.
Needing a card is a de facto emergency fund, or needing it to help them make ends meet as inflation kind of hangs on.
Leading to a record high of credit card debt.
About $1.1 trillion. And that's trillion with a T.
Matt Schultz is the chief credit analyst at LendingTree, saying what's also the highest it's ever been, credit card interest rates averaging between 24 and 25%. Plus delinquencies, late payments, are the highest they've been in the past decade at 3.1%, according to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York.
They are certainly climbing, and that's a troubling thing, especially when you consider that inflation is still around, interest rates are really high, and a lot of people haven't quite started repaying their student loan payments.
Arizonans did increase their credit card debt in the final quarter of 2023, according to a LendingTree analysis.
What can they do to try and tackle this credit card debt?
One of the best tools that you can have is a 0% balance transfer credit card, and those are still widely available.
Saying if you don't have a good enough credit score to qualify, a low-interest personal loan is an option. Adding to, making a call to the credit card issuer is worth the time.
We found that about 76% of folks who asked for a lower interest rate on their credit card had gotten one, and the average reduction was about 6 percentage points. So that's really significant.
Colleen Sikora, 12 News.
Colleen, thank you. We've all been there. We get home from the store just to realize we spent money on things that we just don't need. I spoke with a Valley accountant and businesswoman who shared some helpful tips for how to save more and spend less.
I do spend the most money on gas and groceries. I sometimes overshop, and then I go to clean out my fridge and I get mad at myself because I'm throwing stuff away.
And for Catherine Brookins,
kids are expensive too.
And these are grandkids, and they're even more expensive when they're grandkids. Taking them out to eat. And I'm a teacher. I don't get paid over the summer, so I have to really kind of budget.
Splurging on your grandkids or eating out occasionally can sometimes be worth it.
Was it fun going to Peter Piper Pizza?
Yeah.
I think it was worth it, Grandma.
It was.
High five! Woo!
In all seriousness, American households waste an average of $907 each year. That's according to a survey conducted by the communications agency Cherry Digital. Eating out, impulse buys, unused memberships, and subscriptions add up quickly. I sat down with accountant and author Sharon Lecter at her home in Scottsdale. Sharon is an expert in the finance world.
How money works for women.
The New York Times bestselling author weighed in on how we waste money.
First one is impulse shopping. You go to the store to buy one thing and you end up buying 5. And it's tied to emotional buying.
That's where her 2-minute rule comes in handy.
Leave them on the rack. Walk away for 2 minutes, let the emotions subside, and more than likely you're not going to go back and get them.
Next, late fees and interest on credit cards.
Interest rates are the highest they've ever been right now. The credit card is just throwing your money away.
Forgotten subscriptions.
You subscribe to a gym and you stop going after the first week, but you're still getting hit with those fees. Online streaming that you signed up for that just keep reappearing every single month.
And finally, food delivery charges, eating out, and wasted food.
You eat one leg of the chicken and the rest of it gets wasted.
Her best advice for wasting less and saving more:
sit down and go through and see what those charges are.
For Catherine, making a list of what she absolutely needs and sticking to it has been helpful.
And then I order it for pickup and I find I don't spend as much when I do that. I don't wander down the ice cream aisle.
Yes, something we all have challenges with. When it comes to couponing, there's been a huge shift. What we used to think of as traditional coupon clipping has essentially been replaced with digital coupons, online promo codes, and apps that really help you get cash back. I spoke with a colleague, Nicole Rogers, who's the production supervisor here at 12 News, and found out searching for the next best deal just happens to be one of her favorite things to do when she's not at work.
I love finding a deal, saving money, then I can afford to go on a nice vacation.
What are some of the best sites you've scored the best deals on?
There's some really good websites like Wild for Wags, which is for Walgreens, Wild for CVS, which is for CVS, Dan's Deals.
Nicole especially likes the CVS Extra Bucks program.
You purchase 2 conditioners of a certain brand, and then they'll give you $5 back to use at a later date.
When it comes to apps, some of the apps she uses require you to play a game to get a deal or click through a few ads first.
I try not to have it take up too much time. I'll just do it like while I'm watching TV.
When she's buying food for her cat, she'll sweeten the deal by purchasing it from a pet food website with gift cards she's purchased at the grocery store. And that store gives double the points she earns on gift card purchases, so she gets $1 off every 100 points accumulated on the store's app. Plus, when she buys the pet food,
I go through a shopping portal like Top Cash Back or Rakuten, and that can be 2%, 10% that you get in cash back. So you can stack all of them, and you can actually sometimes get more back than what you spent.
Digital couponing is alive and well.
Yes.
Deals blogger Alicia Markham couldn't agree more.
I love to help people live life better for less.
She's been getting great deals for her own family and searching for the best deals out there to share with her 13,000 followers on dealsinaz.com for 14 years.
You're never going to buy something full price again.
Pretty much.
So what are the best ways to save?
You can save 20% off your groceries if you just get a little bit technical.
One of her go-to apps, Ibotta.
They're going to give you huge amounts of cash back on things you might already be buying.
Here are some of the best ways she recommends saving at the grocery store. Read the ads every week. Buy what's on sale. Get the store apps at the grocery stores you shop at, and eat what's in season. Alicia says that will ensure your produce isn't just cheaper, but it will taste better too. Great tips. Every Monday we report on ideas that could save you and your family money. If you have any Money Saving Monday ideas you would like to share with us or any topics you want us to cover, just email us at money@12news.com. Coming up, retirement sounds pretty nice, doesn't it? But is it a reality? We have expert tips when it comes to saving for retirement. Welcome back to this 12 News Money Saving Special. Ask just about anyone what goes through their mind when they think about retirement, and the answers you get will vary drastically. Some have a plan or at least a vision. For others, it's overwhelming to think about. But there are steps you can follow to help clear up the confusion on your path to retirement.
It's scary.
For Ruthie Brown, retirement is in the far distant future.
My uncle, he's 70. He's 74 and he's still working because retirement is not enough to survive.
Sarah Huddleston is already living it.
I do what I want, go to lunch with my friends, I go to movies during the daytime, I do some volunteering.
And Chuck Vaya doesn't know if he'll ever be able to retire, but spends his weekends doing what he loves.
I go adventuring and hiking and stuff, so I have my fun and I can pay my bills and things.
As the cost of living continues to increase, many Americans have pulled back on saving for retirement. In fact, according to a Go Banking Rates survey, more than 1/3 of Americans are not saving for their golden years. President and founder of Winston & Company's Retirement and Financial Services, Winston Stevenson, says whether retirement is 5 or 40 years away, it's important to take the right steps to ensure you have enough money saved to retire when and how you want to.
Investing that you do during your working years to get to retirement really changes quite a bit.
Winston recommends taking 5 steps to prepare for retirement, starting with estimating your expenses. Plan on spending 80% of your pre-retirement income.
Because it does take into account cost of living increases and taxes.
Next, factor in long-term care. About 70% of people over the age of 65 will need long-term care as they age.
$3,500 in independent, $8,500 a month for the memory care unit and up.
Maximize your savings by doing things like taking advantage of your company 401k.
Dollar for dollar, do it right up to the point where they're maximizing and look to invest those extra dollars.
And strategize Social Security.
One of the single biggest anchor points for anybody's retirement.
Finally, create an investment strategy. Have a diversified portfolio.
Because a lot of people just get to retirement and they're bored. They don't have a plan.
But if you do have a plan like Sarah did, you can be sure you'll have a successful retirement.
Because I worked at ASU, I was required to be in a retirement plan, which is a really good thing.
Now, if creating a retirement plan just seems too complex to tackle alone, there are plenty of professionals out there to help you achieve financial freedom. That's going to do it for this 12 News Money Savings Special. Don't forget to download 12 Plus on your Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV devices. It's where you can get the latest breaking news and weather updates happening all across Arizona. Thank you so much for watching. We invite you to keep coming back to 12 News, 12news.com, and 12 Plus.